nuts! It is not looking great for Dr. Disrespect. Since the allegations that were levied against him regarding why he was originally banned from Twitch 4 years ago, he has made his first stream returning on YouTube on Monday, decided to take an extended hiatus, decided to not speak any further on the matter. Meanwhile, multiple other streamers, news sources, and even companies have come out, cut ties, and spoken on the matter regarding Dr. Disrespect, and yet despite all of that, we somehow still don't have any new information. Obviously, I'm going to touch on some of the new things that have developed over the last 24 hours, but I also want to retouch on some of the things that maybe could use a bit more clarification from the video that I did yesterday. So first up, if you have no idea what's going on or didn't watch yesterday's video, Dr. Disrespect is a massive live streamer, one of the biggest on twitch.tv, and 4 years ago was seemingly banned from the website for no reason. He said he had no idea why. Nobody had any insider info, aside from a few people who were tweeting that the reason he was banned was a lot more than just playing music or saying a slur. It seemed like a really big deal, and they were pretty confident, while not sharing any real information, that Dr. Disrespect would not be back streaming on Twitch. So we were all under the impression that it was serious, but to this day, it remains one of the biggest mysteries in live streaming history. Why did Dr. Disrespect get banned? Last Friday night, Not the Song by Katy Perry, an ex-Twitch employee tweeted out, seemingly about Dr. Disrespect, that the reason he was banned is because he was inappropriately messaging a minor using the Whispers app in Twitch, a feature that no longer exists. While not providing any real information on the matter, a lot of people understood that if this was the case, it would explain why nobody between Twitch, Dr. Disrespect, or anybody who had knowledge about what happened would decide to keep their mouth shut, because obviously this is a much bigger deal and might involve courts or the police or something much more serious, so it made sense why nobody had any information about it. They probably wanted to keep their mouth shut about it until real news came out. Already, I want to address one of the bigger things that people have been saying online and in the comments from yesterday's video, which is basically, okay, so are we just going to believe any random person tweeting out any allegation against any big content creator? Like, this is just fact now? The fact that he hasn't said anything on the matter is the reason that we have to believe this? And while I agree with that sentiment in an isolated case, this situation has a little bit more than just one random person tweeting an allegation. 4 years ago, many people who seemingly had insider knowledge, whether it be Slasher, a news journalist, game journalist, who typically is pretty good about leaks, although, you know, it can be hit or miss when you're working with this kind of information, several years ago, when the ban happened, gave note that it seemed like it was a much more serious situation. They made anecdotes that he would not be coming back to streaming. They made it seem serious and made it seem serious enough that they couldn't speak on the matter. Multiple people. So despite the fact that this seemingly random individual who was an ex-Twitch employee has now leaked this sort of information talking about why Dr. Disrespect was banned, it already has a level of credibility to it, especially with people like Slasher coming out and saying, listen, I told you guys 4 years ago, I couldn't speak on the matter, but this is why. Dr. Disrespect over the weekend would reply to some of these more viral tweets as they were garnering traction, but unfortunately for him, he would reply in a manner that very much read like something that was written by a lawyer, or something that you were specifically writing to avoid using language that might get you in trouble because there's an NDA in place. And obviously, if there's an NDA in place or there were lawyers involved, and the thing you're saying is that, hey, I didn't do anything wrong, it begs the question, why are you under an NDA? How come you can't just outright say, I didn't message a kid? What is preventing you from saying that? And from reading people's comments and taking a look at the people that are talking about the situation, I'm now even more under the impression that there isn't an NDA in the world that would stop you from saying, I didn't message a kid, unless something happened regarding you messaging a kid. The main argument that people have been making over the weekend in trying to defend Dr. Disrespect is the notion that there doesn't seem to be any police involvement. Surely, if Dr. Disrespect in his late 30s was messaging a minor inappropriately and Twitch discovered this, I would imagine that a room full of adults at Twitch would decide that they needed to go to the police as is required by them by law. And I agree with you. I love the sentiment. I can definitely see a room full of adults deciding that a crime occurring requires them to report it to the police. Unfortunately, I can also absolutely see a situation where Twitch, discovering that one of their biggest moneymakers is about to destroy his career and they need to do something about it, deciding to keep it as quiet as possible and just give him shush money or cancel his contract or say, listen, we won't say anything if you don't say anything, but we don't want you on the website anymore. Or even more realistically, getting involved with the minor and their parents deciding, hey, we don't want our child's name plastered across every news headline saying that they were messaging the biggest streamer in the world inappropriately. Let's just do this as quietly as possible. There's a dozen different examples of things that definitely could have occurred that didn't necessarily result in a court date, but was still absolutely inappropriate. And I'm only confident in saying these sorts of examples because with the new news that has come out over the course of the last couple of days, it isn't looking like nothing happened. Dr. Disrespect would do his stream on Monday. I didn't watch it, obviously, because I'm not 14, but it didn't seem like it went super well. A lot of people are posting clips of the stream in which he would read some messages, seem super bummed out. He wouldn't speak on the matter. In fact, he would specifically say, I'm not speaking on the matter. I'm not going to say anything about this. I've said what I need to, which again, everybody was just expecting him to be like, listen, I did not message a minor. That's all you gotta say. But seemingly, either because he can't or because he doesn't want to give in to cancel culture, he's decided to remain completely silent on the matter. And even at the end of the stream, announcing that he would be stepping back from streaming and his game company, Midnight Society, to take a break from what looked like, or at least he tried to make look like, his own decision.
Either have to relay this to the Midnight Society, but maybe I step away from there too. Just completely remove myself from the scene. It's what I need to do.
Not exactly the number one thing we expected if we wanted to give any credibility to the idea that Dr. Disrespect is completely innocent here. If he isn't the imposter, he's not doing a great job of not acting sus right now, okay? The number one thing you should do is say you didn't do the thing that you're being accused of, and seemingly he either doesn't or can't do that. The last thing you should do is decide that you're not going to stream for a little while and not explain why, because the timing also seems a little bit sus. Come on, bro, you weren't in medbay. I saw you vent. Midnight Society, his game company that he co-founded, would come out with a tweet saying that they looked into the allegations and after talking to some people who were more in the know about the situation, have completely cut ties with Dr. Disrespect, which is a big deal because you don't even know what Midnight Society is. The biggest thing that even gave this game publishing company any credibility was their ties to Dr. Disrespect. The fact that they would cut away their biggest co-founder, the only name that is any reason that they have any credibility in the internet space, and deciding, hey, we looked into it and we want nothing to do with them, doesn't look great. Turtle Beach, the headset company, also seemingly has removed all Dr. Disrespect links and it just redirects to their main page. It feels like all these big companies know something we don't, and it doesn't seem like something I'm going to be excited to learn.
If you guys don't know, Midnight Society, which is the game that Doc helped build, right, and create, and he was a part of the company, did their own investigative research behind the scenes, right, and found enough, right, found enough evidence to let him go from the company, right? Not administrative leave, not we'll address this later, like let him go after doing their own research, right? And after doing their own internal investigation behind the scenes. So like, if that's not enough, right, evidence or enough to, like, they found something is what I'm trying to say.
You know who else found something? Bloomberg, who just an hour ago published a document talking about the situation in which they stated that they spoke to 3 different individuals, all speaking on the matter, who asked to remain anonymous, but evidently were in ties with either Twitch or the people involved. Again, they're asking to remain anonymous. I paid for the fucking subscription so I could read the article, and there wasn't that much more to it. But they claim that 3 different individuals have confirmed that the reason Doc was banned on Twitch 4 years ago was specifically for this. For inappropriate, they specifically say actually, sexually messaging an underage individual on their website. Now, I'm under the impression that Bloomberg is a big enough news outlet, big enough company, that can be taken as fact. You guys let me know if Bloomberg is known for just making stuff up out of thin air. But in my opinion, that's a big enough news source. That's a big enough thing where it definitely feels like this is no longer a rumor. That there is, at the very least, some truth to this. And it doesn't exactly explain why there wasn't any police involvement. But again, in my opinion, that was the weakest point that you could have as a detractor of this controversy. Because just personally speaking, it feels like there's a dozen different situations where something inappropriate could have happened that didn't directly lead to a police investigation. This feels like it confirms that. I just cannot catch a break today. 5 minutes ago, Dr. Disrespect posts a tweet in which he addresses the matter, seemingly because so many people have been talking about it or because several Twitch employees had already spoken on it, and so now he feels free to speak on the matter. I will point out that several people in the comments have been pointing out that he has edited, removed, and re-added the word minor to the statement. Think of that whatever you will, but here we go. I'd like to make a quick statement. Let's cut the bullshit. You know I'm no filler, blah, 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 blah. Here's the meat of the matter and what you want to know. Were there Twitch messages between an individual minor back in 2017? The answer is yes. Were there real intentions behind these messages? The answer is absolutely not. And you don't, I mean, if you want to read the entire tweet, I'll link it down in the description. It goes on, but there you go. He did inappropriately message a minor, but he totally wasn't going to act on it. Guys, Dr. Disrespect was just there for a cupcake, okay? That's the conclusion here. Thank you so much for watching. This video has been an absolute roller coaster. I cannot believe the amount of stuff refreshing on my Twitter feed as I'm recording this, but I hope you guys enjoy it. Please don't do the math to figure out that I was recording this like 40 minutes before it went up. I promise I take this job seriously. I just get sleepy sometimes. Big shout out to the patron scrolling behind me. Thank you so much for all the nice messages and apologies that I'll be getting in the comments after everybody calling me a liberal idiot for believing in cancel culture. I hope you're happy. And I'll catch you guys in tomorrow's video. Spisu!